Okay, here we go with the first question on composite and inverse functions. The first one here is just substituting minus 3 into f of x. So here we go, 3 minus 2 times minus 3. Minus 2 times minus 3 is plus 6. 3 plus 6 is 9. The second one is a composite function. We want g of f of minus 3. We've already worked out f of minus 3, it was 9, so that means we just need to do g of 9. So 2 times 9 plus 3, 2 9s are 18, so 18 plus 3, 21. And for part B, this is the inverse function, so let's write out that function, but instead of f of x, I'm going to write y equals 3 minus 2x. And then we're going to change the subject. We're going to make x the subject. I'm going to do that by adding 2x first. Then I'm going to subtract y. Then I'm going to divide by 2. And then I'm going to swap the x's and y's over. Some people do this in the first step. Doesn't matter if you do it at the start or at the end, really. But then what I'm going to do is change that y back to f minus 1. So we get 3 minus x divided by 2. Okay. Part C, find x when g of x is equal to 7. Let's remind ourselves, so g of x is 2x plus 3. So g of x means g of x. Careful, it doesn't mean g of x times by itself. So I'm going to start writing out g of x, but instead of x, I'm going to put brackets, so 2 times something plus 3. And in those brackets, I'm going to put g of x. There we go, so that's g of x, and we're told that that thing there is equal to 7. Now let's expand the brackets. Simplify the left-hand side, 4x plus 9 equals 7. Subtract 9 from both sides, 4x equals minus 2. And then divide both sides by 4, and we get minus 2 divided by 4, or minus 1/2. Nice quick one here. Now this is actually more about index laws, really. We're finding the inverse function, so I'm going to write y instead of f of x. It's helpful to know what this is, 1/7 as a power, and what it is it's the 7th root of x. So to undo that, to make x the subject, what I need to do is raise both sides to the power of 7. So y to the power of 7 is equal to x. Okay, just going to write that like that, put the x first. Now I'm going to switch the x's and y's like I did before, and then change that y to f minus 1 of x. Okay, so the inverse of doing the 7th root is raising to the power of 7, which kind of makes sense. You know, maybe you'd have been able to do that without all of those steps if you understand the logic of it. Another inverse function here. So again, let's start by writing y instead of f of x. Let's make x a subject, so first we need to subtract 1. Then we need to cube root. Let's put the x first, and then I'm going to switch the x's and y's, so y equals the cube root of x minus 1, and change that y to f minus 1 of x, so cube root x minus 1. Yet another inverse function, y equals 5x plus 2. Let's make x a subject by subtracting 2 first. Then let's divide by 5. So y minus 2 all divided by 5. Switch the x's and y's. So f minus 1 of x is x minus 2 divided by 5. Tricky looking question here. So this says f of x plus 2. So f of x is equal to 6x plus 7. 6x minus 7. And this thing here means, well, instead of x, I'm going to replace that thing with x plus 2. So 6 brackets x plus 2 minus 7. Let's expand those brackets. 6x plus 12, take away 7, and 12 take away 7 is 5, so that's going to be 6x plus 5. Inverse function now, so once again y equals 6x minus 7. We'll change the subject first by adding 7, y plus 7 equals 6x. Then dividing by 6. Switch the x's and the y. Okay, and change that y to f minus 1 of x. So f minus 1 of x is x plus 7, all divided by 6. Last part of this question says find x when g of x equals f of 22. So let's first of all work out f of 22. So that means I'm going to put 22 in f of x, so that's 6 brackets 22 minus 7. So 6 20s are 120, add 12, so that's 132. Subtract 7, so f of 22 is 125, so we're part way there. And then we're asked find x when g of x is equal to this thing here. So g of x is equal to x to the power of minus 3. So we want when that is equal to 125. This becomes a bit more of an index laws question now, so we need to remember what x to the minus 3 means. Well, it means 1 over x cubed. So maybe I'm going to multiply up by x cubed. And then divide by 125. And then I need to cube root. And the cube root of 1 over 125 is 1/5. So x equals 1/5. Another inverse function to start us off here. So y equals 7x minus 8. And we'll make x a subject by adding 8. And then we'll divide by 7. So y plus 8 all divided by 7. Then switch the x's and the y's. And then change that y to f minus 1 of x. So x plus 8 divided by 7. The next one says find the value of x when h of x equals g of 1/3. So first I'm going to work out g of 1/3. So that is 4 over 1/3 plus 5. People often struggle with this kind of situation, but the easiest thing to do here is just to get rid of this fraction by multiplying top and bottom of the whole thing here by 3. If we do that, we get 12 on the top, 1 on the bottom. So that's just 12 plus 5. So that there is 17. So now we're going to substitute it into this. So h of x, that's 2 to the power of x plus 1 equals this thing here, 17. Let's solve this first of all by subtracting 1 from both sides. And now the best way to solve this is, well, think of what power of x gives us 16. 2 squared is 4, 2 cubed is 8, 2 to the power of 4 is 16. so that means that x must be 4. So here we have a composite function, so f of 6, so that means first I'm going to do f of 6, so that's 2 to the power of 6 minus 3, 6 take away 3 is 3, so that's 2 cubed is 8, and then I'm doing f of that, so f of 8, 2 to the power of 8 minus 3, 8 minus 3 is 5, so 2 to the power of 5, 2 squared is 4, 2 cubed is 8, 2 to the power of 4 is 16, and then times by 2 again, we get the answer 32. Now this next one is only worth 1 mark, and there's a reason for that, so bear with me, I'm going to show you the reasoning for why this is 1 mark. You wouldn't need to show this working out, this is just to show you. G of x is 2x minus 1, and g minus 1 of x, I'm going to do this without the working out, but if I did do the working out, I would get x plus 1 all divided by 2. So this is the inverse, it does the opposite things. So while this one times this by 2 and then subtracts 1, this one adds 1 and then divides by 2. Okay? If you think of it like a function machine, g of x times this by 2, then subtracts 1. The inverse function does the opposite, adds 1, then divides by 2. So if, for example, I put 5 into g of x, 5 times 2 is 10, take away 1 is 9, and then if I put that 9 back into the inverse function, what's going to happen? Well, 9 add 1 is 10, divided by 2 is 5. Okay, so that means if I do an inverse function and then the function, I get the same thing back, so I'm going to get the answer x plus 21. Let me just show you just by substituting a different number just into those inverse functions. Okay, so here let's do, instead of g of x plus 21 just for a moment, I'm going to do g of, let's try a different number, let's try 10 for instance. And let's do that just to convince you that I'm going to get the answer 10 here as my answer. So g of 10 is 2 times 10, take away 1, so that's 19. And then I'm going to do g minus 1 of 19. So I'm going to put 19 into here. 19 add 1 is 20, divided by 2 is 10. Oh look, we end up back with what we started with. So, like I said, all of that just to explain that when you apply the function and then its inverse, you just get this thing back. All you're going to get is x plus 21. That's why it's only worth 1 mark. A useful thing to remember. The next one, find x when f of x equals h of 84. So I guess let's work out h of 84 first. So that is 5 over 84, take away 4. 84 take away 4 is 80, so 5 over 80. Simplify that, that's 1 over 16. And then we want when f of x is equal to that, so f of x is 2 to the power of x minus 3. And we want when that is equal to 1 over 16. A little bit of a tricky one here. I'm thinking, what power of 2, so 2 to the power of something equals 1 over 16. So I know that that's got to be a negative power because it's 1 over. And 2 squared is 4, 2 cubed is 8, so 2 to the power of 4 is 16. So 1 over 16 is equal to 2 to the minus 4. Okay, so now I'm going to replace that 1 over 16 with 2 to the minus 4. Okay, so now let's just look at the powers. So those powers tell us that for these things to be equal, x minus 3 must be equal to minus 4. add 3 to both sides, and we get x equals -1. If you weren't sure about that, you could always just check by substituting in. -1 take away 3 gives us -4, 2 to the power -4, and does indeed give us 1/16. Okay. Okay, this question looks a little bit tricky. So first it's asking us to do f of -5k. So that means I'm going to substitute -5k in the place of x, so brackets -5k squared. That means I need to square this first. Okay, remember to do indices first. -5 squared is 25, and k squared is k squared. So that gives me 25k cubed. And then it tells me that that is equal to 675. So then we're going to divide by 675. Sounds like it might be... no, I was wrong. It's 27. So k cubed is 27, and then cube root that, and that is 3. Next one wants us to find gh of x, so that means I'm doing g of x but substituting h into it. So I'm going to start by writing g, that's 1 over, and then instead of x I'm going to write h of x. 7x minus 2 over 5. Again, this is one of the situations that people struggle with. What I don't like is having this fraction within a fraction. To get rid of this, I would need to multiply by 5, and if I'm doing that to the bottom of the fraction, I'm going to do the same to the top. So I get 5 on the top and 7x minus 2 on the bottom, and that's it. It seems a bit stingy for 1 mark. The next one, h minus 1 of x plus j of x. So first, h minus 1 of x. So h of x is equal to 7x minus 2 over 5. I'm going to write y instead of h, and then I'm going to change the subject. I'm going to make x the subject. First by timesing by 5. Then I'm going to add 2. Then I'm going to divide by 7. And then switch the x's and the y's. And then let's change it back to h. So h minus 1 of x equals 5x plus 2 over 7. Okay, then it wants me to do that, add j of x, so 5x plus 2 over 7, add, what is j of x? 3 minus 10x over 14. So it's almost become a bit of an algebraic fractions question. To make the denominators the same, the common denominator we're going to use is 14, which means I'm going to need to times the top and the bottom of this one by 2. Okay, so 7 times 2 is 14, so 14 on the bottom, and 2 times 5x plus 2 plus 3 minus 10x. Let's expand the top there. 2 times 5x is 10x, 2 times 2 is 4, add 3, take away 10x, all over 14. We've got a bit of simplifying. 10x take away 10x is nothing. 4 plus 3 is 7, so 7 over 14, and that simplifies all the way down to a half. short question on domain and range here. So domain is the input, range is the output. So if the domain is -3, 0 and 2, that means I need to work out what the answers are when I substitute that in. Okay, so let's put in -3 first. 3 times -3 is -9. Take away 5, -14. We're going to do it with 0 as well. 3 times 0 is 0. Take away 5 is -5. And then finally with 2. 3 times 2, take away 5. 3 2s are 6. 6 take away 5 is 1. So that means our range is -14, -5 and 1. Okay, this one here looks a little bit trickier. We've got fg of x plus 1 equals gf of x. I think we'll start by trying to work out the left-hand side. That's f of g of x plus 1. So we will try and work out g of x plus 1 first. So that means I'm going to write out g of x, but I'm replacing the x with x plus 1. So instead of that x, I've got x plus 1 and then plus 4. Okay, so g of x plus 1 is just x add 5. Now I need to substitute that into f. So I'm going to do f of that thing, f of x plus 5. So I'm going to start writing out f, but instead of x, I'm going to put brackets there. So that's like x squared minus 25, and where that x was, instead I'm putting x plus 5. Let's now expand those brackets. Now remember, we have to use first outside, inside last for this. If it helps, you could always write it out. 2 brackets next to each other. X times x is x squared. 5 times x is 5x. Add 5 times x is 5x again. So 10x plus 25 minus 25. So this whole thing simplifies to x squared plus 10x. That's the left hand side done. Now let's look at the right hand side. The right hand side says g f of x, so that's g of f of x. So I'm going to start writing g, but then instead of g, instead of the x in g, I'm going to write f. So instead of that x there, I'm writing x squared minus 25, and then putting plus 4 at the end. So let's just simplify that. Minus 25 plus 4 minus 21. And that's gf of x. So now I just need to set these two things equal to each other. So x squared plus 10x equals x squared minus 21. We can subtract x squared from both sides, given that we've got it on both sides. So we just got 10x equals minus 21. And then we can just divide both sides by minus 10. And we could leave it as a fraction or as a decimal. It gives us quite a nice decimal here, so I might do minus 21 divided by 10. And I just get minus 2.1. Okay, this gives me f of x and g of x, and then it also gives me the composite function, but it gives me this letter p instead. So I guess what I really need to do is find the composite function myself. So let's do f of g of x. So I'm going to start by writing f, but instead of that x there I'm putting brackets, and I'm putting g of x inside there. Okay, then I'm expanding those brackets. 4 times 5x is 20x. 4 times minus 4 minus 16, then add 3. So 20x minus 13. So 20x is the same. So p is minus 13. Part B says h of x is equal to 5x minus 1 over 3, and it wants me to find the inverse function. We'll change it to a y first, then we'll make x a subject first by multiplying by 3, then adding 1, then dividing by 5, Then switch the x's and y's, so y equals 3x plus 1 all divided by 5, and then change that y to h minus 1 of x. Okay, starting with an inverse function, so y equals 11x plus 2. Subtract 2 from both sides and divide by 11. Then switch the x's and y's and change that y to f minus 1 of x, so x minus 2 over 11. G of f of 8. I don't know why they've written it like that. We could just as easily write it like that. That's how they normally write it. Okay, so that means first I'm going to do f of 8 is 11 times by 8 plus 2. 11 times 8 is 88, plus 2 is 90. And then I want to do g of that thing, so g of 90. So that is sine of 90. And hopefully we know that sine of 90, thinking about our graph here, sine starts at 0 and goes like that. Here's 90 degrees, sine of 90 is equal to 1. So first of all, just a substitution, f of 2. So I'm going to replace that x there with a 2. 2 times 2 is 4, subtract 5, so that's 1 divided by minus 1. 1 divided by minus 1 is just negative 1. This next one, f of x equals 5, so 1 over 2x minus 5 equals 5. Let's multiply both sides by this 2x minus 5. Okay, we could divide by 5 here. Quite a lot of people prefer to expand the brackets first though, so that's what I'm going to do. Then I'm going to add that 25. Okay. And then divide by 10, so 26 divided by 10. Again, it gives us quite a nice decimal, so I'm going to write it as a decimal, 2.6. First one wants us to substitute minus 3 into f, so that's minus 3 squared. Minus 3 times minus 3 is 9. Nice and easy. The second one is an inverse function, so I'm going to start by writing y equals x plus 5 all divided by 2. Multiply both sides by 2, we're changing the subject here, and then subtract 5, and then switch the x's and the y's, so y equals 2x minus 5, and change that y to g minus 1 of x. Part C looks a little bit more complicated, so first we want gf of x equals h minus 1 of 63. Okay, we'll deal with gf of x first. So I'm going to start by writing out those two functions, so I don't need to keep scrolling, so x plus 5 over 2. And f of x is just equal to x squared. G of f of x means we're going to start by writing g, and we're going to put f in the place of x, so x squared plus 5 all divided by 2, that's gf of x. Now h of minus 1, sorry, h minus 1 of 63, if you watched an earlier question on here, you should already know what the answer to this is. It's a really important property to know. Doesn't matter what function it is, if I'm doing the function and then its inverse, whatever number I'm applying it to, these things cancel out. So the answer is going to be 63. If that doesn't make sense to you, go earlier in the video and look at one of the earlier questions where exactly this situation comes up and I explain it in more detail. Now I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. so that's 126, subtract 5, and square root. Now when I square root, now normally I would be writing plus or minus 11, because it could be both, but it does say here x is greater than 0. So I guess that means I don't need the minus one, I'm just going to go for the positive one, so x equals 11. Okay, g f of x means I'm doing g of f of x, so I'm going to start writing out the function g, but then where I've got x, instead I'm going to be writing 5x minus 3, then take away 2. Okay, minus 3 minus 2 is minus 5. We can factorise the bottom, so let's do that. Okay, and then I can divide top and bottom by 5. Okay, 10 divided by 5 is 2, 5 divided by 5 is 1, so I just get 2 over x minus 1. The next one, g minus 1 of x, so I'm going to start by writing y equals 10 over x minus 2. Then we want to make x a subject. Okay, first I'm going to multiply by x minus 2. Expand those brackets. It's really important not to forget at this point that we're trying to make x the subject, so that's the one we're trying to get by itself. So I'm going to add 2y now. And then I'm going to divide by that y. Then switch those x's and y's around. And change that y to g minus 1 of x. Again here we've got one of those one markers, and once again it's one of those apply the function and then the inverse function to something here. F minus 1 of anything is always just going to give us that answer back. Once again, if that's not clear why, look earlier in the video for another example of that. Okay, this question gives me f of x, and it also gives me the answer to f of minus 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find f of minus 2 by substituting it into that. So 3 brackets minus 2 all squared plus a. Indices first, so minus 2 squared is 4, and 3 times 4 is 12. So f of minus 2 is 12 plus a, and it tells me that that is equal to 19. So let's write that down. 12 plus a equals 19. Then I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides, so I get a equals 7. Oh, there we go. So a is 7. Part B gives me two functions and wants me to find the composite function. So that's g of h of x. So let's start writing out g, but instead where we've got x, I'm just going to put some brackets, and then I'm going to put h in there. So 3x minus 8. Expand those brackets. And then simplify. Minus 16 plus 7 is minus 9, so 6x minus 9. For the inverse function, let's start by writing y equals 2x plus 7. Then we're going to subtract 7 from both sides, and then divide by 2. And then switch the x's and y's round and change that y to g minus 1 of x. Okay, this question here wants me to do a composite function, g f of 2. So that is the same as g of f of 2. Let's first of all do f of 2. That's 1 over 2, a half. And then I want to do g of that, so g of a half. So that's 3 times by a half, subtract 5. 3 times a half is 3 over 2. Okay, we could do this as a decimal or a fraction. Because I've started doing it as a fraction, I'm going to do it that way. Okay, 5 over 1 or 10 over 2. So that is minus 7 over 2, which is minus 3.5. Okay, you might have found it easier just to write 1.5, take away 5 here, and spot straight away that that's minus 3.5. Maybe that's a quicker way to do it. This next one here, I'm going to start by writing y equals 3x minus 5. I'm going to change the subject first by adding 5 to both sides, then dividing by 3, and then switch the x's and y's. So g minus 1 of x is x plus 5 divided by 3. This one wants us to find g of x minus 2 in its simplest form. Let's first write what g of x is. And g of x minus 2 means I'm replacing that x with x minus 2. Then let's expand that bracket there, so 3x minus 6 minus 5, and then simplify. Minus 6 minus 5 is minus 11, so 3x minus 11. Okay, here I need to do f g of x equals 0.1. So let's remind ourselves f of x is equal to 1 over x. Okay, for f g of x, that means I'm doing f of g of x. So I'm going to start writing f, but then instead of the x, I'm putting g of x. Okay, so 1 over 3x minus 5, that's my f of g of x. And we're told that's equal to 0.1. Quite a nice way to do this actually is to maybe turn this into a fraction. Okay, 0.1 is equal to 1 over 10, because then I'm just going to cross multiply. So I get 3x minus 5 is equal to 10. Add 5 to both sides, 3x equals 15. Divide by 3, x equals 5. You'd have got the same answer if you'd have multiplied up here, expanded the brackets and solved it that way. It would have just taken a little bit longer. Okay, h of x minus g of 7 equals 0. So h of x is 2 to the power of x. Let's remind ourselves what g is. G is 3x minus 5. Okay, what I'm going to do first is do g of 7. So that's 3 times 7, take away 5. 3 times 7, 7, 14, so that's 21, take away 5. 21 take away 5 is 16. So substitute that into the equation. H of x is 2 to the power of x minus 16 equals 0. Add 16 to both sides. And then you need to know your powers of 2. 2 squared is 4, 2 cubed is 8, 2 to the power of 4 is 16. So that means x must be equal to 4. Okay, so we're starting with h of 4. So I'm going to substitute 4 into h of x. So that's 4 to the power of 4. Okay, so 4 squared is 16. 4 cubed is 64, and then times that by 4. I don't know, can't remember if this was a non-calculator or not, just in case it wasn't. 4 times 4 is 16, 4 times 6, 24, add that one, 25, so 256. Now fg of 1, so that's f of g of 1, so first I'm going to do g of 1. That is 1 squared add 1. 1 squared is 1, add 1 is 2. So then I'm going to do f of that, so f of 2 is 3 times 2 plus 2. 3 times 2 is 6, add 2, 6 add 2 is 8. Find g f of x in the form ax squared plus bx plus c, so g of f of x. So I'm going to start by writing out g, but then in place of that x there, so there's g, but instead of x I've got those brackets, and I'm going to put f of x into there. F of x is 3x plus 2. And I'm going to expand that. Careful with this. We need to do first outside, inside last. Okay, I'll do it over here. 3x times 3x, 9x squared. 3x times 2, 6x. 2 times 3x, 6x again. And 2 times 2, 4. Simplify that and we get 9x squared plus 12x plus 4. So let's put that back over here. And then we need to add on that 1 at the end, so we end up with 9x squared plus 12x plus 5. Still going on this question. Okay, find f of x when find x when f of x equals g of 7. Okay, so let's just copy these. Gone a bit funny, never mind. Okay. So let's do g of 7 first. G of 7 is 7 squared plus 1. 7 squared, that's 49. Add 1 is 50. And we want when f of x is equal to that. So 3x plus 2 equals 50. Subtract 2 from both sides, 3x equals 48, and 48 divided by 3 is 16. Still going, inverse function now, y equals 3x plus 2. We'll subtract 2 from both sides, and then divide by 3. And then switch the x's and y's and change that y back to f minus 1 of x, so x minus 2 over 3. And finally the last part of this question, g of x over f of x plus x. Okay. Okay, so g of x, x squared plus 1 over f of x, 3x plus 2 plus x. Give your answer as a single fraction in terms of x in its simplest form. Okay, so instead of that x, let's write x over 1. And then to be able to add these to make them a single fraction, I'm going to need to multiply top and bottom of this one by 3x plus 2. Okay, so that means that on the bottom we're going to get 3x plus 2. For the first fraction here, x squared plus 1, and then plus x brackets 3x plus 2. Then we'll expand those brackets, so x times 3x, 3x squared. 2 times x is plus 2x over 3x plus 2. Simplify what we can on the top, so x squared add 3x squared is 4x squared plus 2x plus 1, all divided by 3x plus 2. Okay, and now we're going to need to check if the top factorises. I've somehow missed off how many marks it's worth, so it's not clear whether it will or not. A, C. So I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to give 4 and add to give 2. So that's 1 and 4, but that adds to give 5. 2 and 2, that adds to give 4, so that means no, it doesn't factorise. So I guess we can leave it at that. Okay, part A of this question, g of 6. So let's replace x with 6, so 2 times 6 over 6 minus 3. 2 6s are 12, 6 take away 3 is 3. So 12 divided by 3, that's 4. Fg of 4, so that's f of g of 4. So first I'm going to do g of 4. 2 times 4 divided by 4 take away 3. 2 4s are 8, so that's 8 is g of 4, so now I'm going to do f of that, so that's f of 8. So 7 times 8, subtract 4, 7 8s are 56, take away 4, it's 52. Okay, f h of x, let's just make a copy of these. So that means I'm going to substitute h into f. So I'm going to start by writing f of x, but then where there's an x, I'm going to put brackets instead. So there's f of x, but with brackets where that x would be, and inside those brackets I'm going to put h, and h is x squared. So fh of x is 7x squared minus 4. Okay, part D. So we want f of x over 2 plus g of x, and writing it as a fraction in its simplest form. So 7x minus 4 all over 2 plus g of x, x over x minus 3. I'll give myself a little bit more space if I can. No, it won't let me. Okay. So what we're going to do is we need to make the denominators the same, which means I need to multiply top and bottom of this one by x minus 3. And top and bottom of this one by 2. That means that on the bottom we're going to get 2 brackets x minus 3. On the top here on the left hand side 7x minus 4 brackets x minus 3 plus 2 times 2x, that's 4x. Now we're going to expand the top, do first outside, inside last, and the reason I'm going to do that is I'm going to end up with some x terms in here which I can collect together with that one. So that's why I'm not going to leave the top factorised, I'm going to expand it first. So 7x times x is 7x squared. 7x times minus 3 is minus 21x. Minus 4x. And minus 4 times minus 3 is plus 12, then plus 4x. The bottom we will keep factorised. Now we're going to simplify the top. So we've got minus 21x, minus 4x, plus 4x. Okay, so those two cancel out, so we just get minus 21x, so 7x squared, minus 21x, and then plus 12 all over 2 brackets x minus 3. This is only 3 marks, so I don't really expect the top to simplify, but let's just check it anyway. A times c gives me 84, so I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to 84 and add to give minus 21. That means they both need to be negative. Let's have a think about some of the factors. 1 and 84, 2 and 42. 3 does go. 3 and 28. 4 and 21. Does either of those work? No. 5, no. Let's just check 6 as well. 6 and what's that? 6 and 14 doesn't go either. So it doesn't factorise. So I guess our answer is just that. Last part of this question now. Find the value of x when f of x plus 2 equals minus 11. So f of x is equal to 7x minus 4. F of x plus 2 means I'm replacing that x there with x plus 2. Expand the brackets, 7x plus 14, take away 4. So 7x plus 10. So that's f of x plus 2, and we're told that that thing is equal to minus 11. Subtract 10 from both sides, we get minus 21. Divide by 7, x equals minus 3. A nice one to end with. Okay, with this question here, don't be tempted to expand the whole thing, there's no need. For f of 0, I'm going to do the first bracket, so 3 times 0 add 1 is 1. And then the second bracket, 0 plus 5 is 5. And the third bracket, 0 take away 4 is minus 4. So that's 1 times 5 times minus 4. So 5 times minus 4 is minus 20. Much easier if you don't expand it. Now they want the inverse function of g of x, so y equals 2x minus 3. Let's add 3 to both sides, and then divide by 2. Then switch the x's and y's, and then change the y to g minus 1 of x, so x plus 3 over 2. Next one, g h of 2. So first we're going to do h of 2. That is 4 to the power of 2 times 2 take away 1. 2 times 2 is 4. Take away 1 is 3, so that's 4 cubed. 4 times 4 is 16, times 4 again is 64. And then we want to do g of that, so g of 64. 2 times 64, take away 3. 2 64s, 128, take away 3, 125. Okay. Next one, g of 2x equals 7. Okay, so we know g of x is equal to 2x minus 3. G of 2x means I'm going to replace the x here with 2x. 2 times 2x is 4x minus 3, and it tells us that that thing is equal to 7. So let's write that out. 4x minus 3 equals 7. Add 3 to both sides. 4x equals 10. Divide by 4. 10 divided by 4, or 5 over 2. Okay, this one doesn't look very nice, but let's give it a go. G of x squared. So g of x is equal to 2x minus 3. For g of x squared, I'm just going to replace the x with x squared. So 2x squared minus 3. Then we're going to do g of x. Okay, that's g of x. So I'm going to start writing out g. So 2, but then instead of the x I'm putting brackets, and inside those brackets I'm writing the function g again. Let's expand those brackets. 4x minus 6 minus 3. So that is 4x minus 9. So now it tells us to simplify this whole thing. So 2x squared minus 3 plus 4x minus 9 plus 1. Simplify. 2x squared plus 4x minus 3 minus 9, so what's that, minus 11. Could it factorise? 2 times minus 11 is minus 22. Can I think of any numbers? No, the only two factors are 11 and 2, apart from 22 and 1, so no, it doesn't factorise. So that's going to be our answer. G of 3 means we're going to substitute 3 into g of x. So 3 minus 1 all squared. 3 take away 1 is 2, so 2 squared, so that is 4. F of x minus 2. Okay, so f of x is equal to 1 minus 3x. F of x minus 2 means instead of where I've got x, I'm going to write x minus 2. There we go. So now I've got minus 3 times x, that's minus 3x. Minus 3 times minus 2 is plus 6. 1 plus 6 is 7, so 7 minus 3x. For f minus 1 of x, let's first of all write y equals 1 minus 3x. I'm going to add 3x. Then I'm going to subtract that y. And then divide by 3. Then switch the x's and y's. And change the y to f minus 1 of x. So 1 minus x over 3. Okay, so we have gf of x and gx f of x. Let's quickly copy those functions down. Okay, we'll deal with gf of x first. So that means I'm going to start writing out g of x, but where I've got that x, instead I'm going to write down f. So 1 minus 3x subtract 1 all squared. Okay, I can get rid of those brackets. 1 minus 3x minus 1. Simplify. 1 take away 1 is nothing, so it's just going to give me minus 3x squared. Minus 3 times minus 3 is 9, so gf of x is 9x squared. They've been a bit tricky here with this. Okay, notice the difference. This doesn't say gf of x anymore, it says gx f of x. Now, gx f of x means we're literally going to multiply those two things, which is a thing that often you're told not to do when doing these kinds of functions, because you get it confused with something like that. So, first I'm going to write x minus 1 squared, and then f of x is 1 minus 3x. Okay. And then it wants me to write it in this form. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to need to expand this. I'm going to expand it first before putting it back into this. Now what I'm going to do is expand, actually let's write it all out first, x minus 1, 1 minus 3x. And I'm going to expand the first two brackets first, so x times x is x squared. Then the outside ones, minus x, then the insides minus x, then the lasts plus 1. Simplify those, so x squared minus 2x plus 1 times by 1 minus 3x. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the x squared by those two, then the minus 2x by those two, and then the 1 by those two. So x squared times 1 is x squared. X squared times minus 3x is minus 3x cubed. Minus 2x times 1, minus 2x. Minus 2x times minus 3x plus 6x. Then 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times minus 3x minus 3x. Let's simplify. I'm going to write the x cubed term first. Minus 3x cubed. Then the x squared term. Did we only get one x squared? I made a mistake somewhere here. Minus 2x times minus 3x should have been plus 6x squared. Okay. Right, so the x squared terms. X squared plus 6x squared is 7x squared. Minus 2x, take away 3x, minus 5x, and then plus 1. Now I'm going to substitute back into this thing here. Okay, so gf of x, 9x squared, and then careful, minus all of this thing in brackets. So minus 3x cubed plus 7x squared minus 5x plus 1. So now let's subtract all of those terms. So we get plus 3x cubed minus 7x squared plus 5x minus 1. Let's put the cube term first. Then we've got 9x squared minus 7x squared is 2x squared plus 5x minus 1. Oops. So we've got the 3 there, so that's good news. The a is the number in front of x squared, so we've got a 2 for that. The b, 5 for that, and for the c, minus 1 for that one. And this question hasn't quite finished. H of x to the n equals 3x to the 7. Okay. Okay. So let's write out h of x to the n. So that is 3 over, and instead of x, x to the n. Using your index laws, another way to write this would be 3 x to the power of negative n. And now I'm going to substitute that into what it says. So 3x to the minus n equals 3x to the 7. Oh look, and then straight away we can see for this to work, that means minus n is equal to 7. So n equals negative 7. Okay, f of 2 means we're going to substitute 2 into f, so 5 times by 2, take away 3. 5 times 2 is 10, 10 take away 3 is 7. gf of 0.5 means first we're going to do f of 0.5. Means we're going to do f of 0.5. So 5 times 0.5 minus 3. 0.5, so that's 2.5 minus 3. 2.5 minus 3 is minus 0.5. And I'm going to put that into g. So that is 64 to the minus 0.5, or minus a half I could write as well. Okay, so that is 1 over 64 to the half. And the half means square root, so 1 over the square root of 64, which is 1 over 8. That seems like an awful lot of work for 2 marks. Okay. Next one, h minus 1 of x. First we'll write y equals 2 over x plus 1. Then we're going to change the subject. First let's multiply by x plus 1. Expand the brackets. Now we're going to make x the subject by subtracting that y and then dividing by this y. Switch the x's and y's back around and change that y to h minus 1 of x, so 2 minus x, 2 minus x, all divided by x. Find x when g of x. Okay, first let's copy these. Okay, find x when g of x equals 1 over 2 to the power of 5. So 64 to the power of x equals 1 over 2 to the power of 5. Okay, first I'm going to change this into index form. So I'm going to write 2 to the power of negative 5. And then I'm going to think, okay, what power of 2 is 64? Well, 2 squared is 4, 2 cubed is 8, 2 to the 4 is 16, 2 to the 5 is 32, 2 to the power of 6 is 64. Then we can use our power over power law. We multiply them, so 2 to the power of 6x equals 2 to the minus 5. Okay, so now if I just ignore those bases, those 2's there, I've got an equation here, 6x minus 5. Divide by 6, x equals minus 5 over 6. Again, that seems like a lot of work for just 2 marks there. Okay, one of these, write as a fraction in its simplest form. So first of all, 1 over f of x minus 2, wait, I'm going to leave myself a little bit more space, minus 2 over x plus 1. Let's multiply top and bottom of this one by x plus 1, and multiply top and bottom of this one by 5x minus 3. So on the bottom we're going to get 5x minus 3 times x plus 1. On the top here we get 1 times x plus 1 minus 2 brackets 5x minus 3. Let's simplify that top first by expanding this. So minus 2 times 5x is minus 10x. And minus 2 times minus 3 is plus 6. And then x take away 10x is minus 9x. 1 plus 6, 7. Okay, and that would be okay as an answer. We could also write it slightly simpler as 7 minus 9x over 5x minus 3x plus 1. Okay, but both would be fine. Okay, this first question wants us to find g of a half. So 2 over 1/2, again one of those ones that people find tricky. I don't like this fraction here, so I'm going to multiply it by 2. If I'm doing that to the bottom, I need to do the same to the top as well. So 4 on the top, 1 on the bottom, so that just gives me 4. For hg of a half, that's h of g of a half. I've already done g of a half, it was 4, so now I just need to do h of 4. So that's 2 to the power of 4. 2 squared is 4, 2 cubed is 8, 2 to the power of 4, 16. Find x when f of x equals 7. So f of x, 10 minus x equals 7. Subtract 10 minus x equals minus 3. Times by minus 1, x equals 3. Next, find x when g of x equals h of 3. Let's do h of 3 first. That's 2 to the power of 3, that's 8. So we want when g of x equals 8. G of x is 2 over x, and we want that to equal 8. Let's multiply by x, so 2 is equal to 8x, and divide by 8, that is 2/8 or 1/4. Okay, next, j minus 1 of x. Again, let's copy these. Okay, we'll write y equals 5 minus 2x first, that's j of x. I'm going to add 2x. And we're going to make x a subject by first subtracting y and then dividing by 2 and then switch round the x's and y's and change that y to j minus 1 of x. 5 minus x all divided by 2. Okay, second last one here. Write f of x plus g of x plus 1 as a single fraction. So f of x is 10 minus x. G of x is 2 over x and then plus 1. I'm going to do a bit of simplifying first. I could write this as 1 over 1 and write this as 1 over 1. It just makes it a bit easier if I actually add this first. Let's do that 10, add that 1. So here I get 11 minus x plus 2 over x. And let's write that now as 11 minus x over 1. So for the common denominator, we're going to use x. So that means I'm going to need to multiply top and bottom of this one by x. Okay, so on the bottom, x. And here, let's put the x in front, brackets 11 minus x, and then plus 2. Expand those brackets, 11x minus x squared plus 2, all divided by x. So minus x squared plus 11x plus 2, all divided by x. If it factorised, I'd have to factorise it, but it doesn't. I can already tell with that 2 and that 11, I'm not going to be able to multiply anything to give me 2 that's going to add to give 11. So we'll just leave it there. Okay. A little bit more of a complicated one here, 4 marker. Okay, so again, they're trying to confuse us a bit by writing f of x squared and f of x and seeing if we know the difference. Well, f of x squared means literally let's write f of x and we're going to square it. That's that one there. To do that, we're going to do first outside, inside last. Ten times 10, 100. Outsides minus 10x, insides minus 10x, and then plus x squared. I'm going to put the x squared first, minus 20x plus 100. Now let's do f of x. So 10 minus, and then brackets instead of that x there, and in those brackets we're going to put f of x, so 10 minus x, so we get 10 minus 10, and then minus minus x, so plus x. 10 take away 10 is nothing, so this just gives me x. Right, so now I'm going to do this, x squared minus 20x plus 100, subtract this thing here, so subtract x, so x squared minus 21x plus 100, which I guess means my a is 1, my b is minus 21, and my c is 100. Nice short question here. We're going to find x when f of x equals minus 5. So 3 minus 5x equals minus 5. Let's subtract 3. And then divide by minus 5. So 8 over 5, or 1 3/5. For f minus 1 of x, let's write y equals 3 minus 5x. I'm going to add 5x. Then I'm going to subtract y. And then divide by 5. Then switch the x's and the y's. So y equals 3 minus x over 5. Okay, here, first of all, h of 3. So h of 3 means replacing x with 3 here. So 4 cubed. 4 times 4 is 16, times 4 again, 64. F h of 3, that means f of h of 3. We've already done h of 3 at 64. So that means we're going to do f of 64. 2 times 64, subtract 1. 2 64s, 128, take away 1, 127. And then solve the equation g f of x equals 0. Okay, so let's find g of f of x. So I'm going to start writing g, but instead of x I'm putting some brackets. So bracket squared plus 2 brackets. So that's my function g, but with brackets instead of x's. And inside those brackets I'm going to put f. So 2x minus 1 all squared plus 2 times 2x minus 1. Okay. So I need to do first outside, inside last with this one. With this one I can just expand it. 2 times 2x is 4x. 2 times minus 1 is minus 2. Right, let's expand this one. 2x times 2x, 4x squared. Minus 2x. Inside's minus 2x. Then minus 1 times minus 1 is plus 1. So here that simplifies to minus 4x. Okay, so minus 4x, add 4x is nothing, so we get 4x squared. Plus 1 take away 1, take away 2, sorry, is minus 1. And that is equal to 0. Two ways to solve this. Either we could add 1, divide by 4 and square root, or we could factorise. This factorises as the difference of two squares. 2x plus 1, 2x minus 1. So that means 2x plus 1 equals 0, or 2x minus 1 equals 0. So 2x equals minus 1, so x equals minus a half, or 2x equals 1, so x equals a half. Whichever way you do it, you should definitely get those two answers. Look, it's even got a clue here at the bottom telling you that you're getting two answers. P minus 1 of x equals f of x. Okay, let's find what is P. Oh, we need to find P, I see. P minus 1 of x equals f of x. Find P of x, okay. So let's write down f of x in this space here. F of x is 2x minus 1. Yeah. Okay, so instead of this p minus 1, let's write y. And then if I've got the inverse to find the original, all I need to do is change the subject, just like I would if I was finding the inverse, okay? So again, I'm going to make x the subject, so I'm going to add 1. And then divide by 2. Then switch x's and y's. So P of x equals x plus 1 over 2. This is just a complicated way of really just saying find the inverse of f of x. Okay, I don't know why they've tried to do it like that. This first question here, f of 3, means we're going to substitute 3 in for x, so 3 squared plus 1. 3 squared is 9, so 9 plus 1, so that first one is 10. For gf of 3, that's g of f of 3. We found f of 3 already, it's 10, so we're doing g of 10. So 1 minus 2 times 10. So 1 minus 20. 1 take away 20 is minus 19. For g minus 1 of x, let's write y equals 1 minus 2x. I'm going to add 2x. Subtract y. And divide by 2. Switch the x's and the y's. So g minus 1 of x is 1 minus x all over 2. Find x when h of x equals 2. H of x is 1 over x. Okay, let's multiply both sides by x. Divide both sides by 2. And we get x equals a half. And another one of these, g of x minus g of x. And g of x is 1 minus 2x. Okay. So g of x means we need to multiply this thing by itself. So 1 minus 2x times 1 minus 2x. First outsides, insides last. So 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times minus 2x is minus 2x. Then minus 2x again. Minus 2x times minus 2x is plus 4x squared. Okay, I'm going to put the x squared term first. Then collect these two, minus 4x. And then this one, plus 1. Now, gg of x. So 1 minus 2, and then brackets. And in these brackets, I'm going to put g of x. Minus 2 times 1 is minus 2. Minus 2 times minus 2x is plus 4x. 1 take away 2, minus 1 plus 4x. Okay. So now I want g of x, so that is 4x squared minus 4x plus 1. Subtract all of this thing, let's put it in brackets to be sure. Okay, so we're doing minus minus 1, that's plus 1, and minus positive 4x, so that's minus 4x. Minus 4x, take away 4x is minus 8x, and 1 plus 1 is 2. So there we go, we've got it in that form, 4x squared minus 8x plus 2. Still a couple more parts of this question. h of x. Okay, so h of x was 1 over x. Okay, so h of x means 1 over, and then instead of x I'm writing h of x again, so 1 over x. Kind of looks horrible, but to be able to get rid of this fraction, all we want to do is multiply this one by x, and if we're doing that to the bottom of the fraction, we do the same to the top. So we get x on the top, and x over x is just 1 on the bottom, so it just gives us x. And last part of this, j of 5, j of x was 5 to the power of x. So that's 5, j of 5 is 5 to the power of 5. Don't remember if this was calculator or non-calculator. 5 squared is 25. Times 5 again is 625. I'm going to do it using my calculator, but I'm sure it's something we could work out if we needed to. 3,125.